Good morning, love. I'm not exactly sure when I came up with the idea of an inverted bucket list, but how I see it is this. It is those times when you do something you never expected you would do, yet after you complete it, you sit back and say, wow, I did that. So cool and so not what I expected myself to do. It's the moment that I did something that my younger self would never have imagined me doing for a few reasons. For one thing, when I was a little girl, we drove across the country from New Jersey to California. Do you notice the theme here? In our family's Country Squire station wagon. It was turquoise. And there were 6 kids, 2 adults, and all of our stuff. That was back then. Oh, and it wasn't air conditioned. And so as we drove across the country, I kept hearing stories from my parents about the dreaded Mojave Desert. Oh no, the Mojave Desert. Oh, so scary. So for the rest of my life, even up until 2 days ago, I sort of worried about the Mojave Desert, even as I've driven through it now gajillions of times. And yes, I now have cars with air conditioning. This road trip has been primarily about saying yes and allowing myself to be scared and feel every emotion as it courses through me. So when my brother Jim invited me to go for a ride in a side-by-side, didn't know what a side-by-side was, and I'm like, oh sure, yeah, let's do that. Did I mention my brothers were all race car drivers? Except for my brother with Down syndrome. He didn't drive at all. But my other 3 brothers all experienced car racing, race car driving. Although California is one of the farthest west states, Arizona is much more of a wild, wild west feel to it. And in Bullhead City, which is where my brother lives, it's, yes, very, very, very much this wild, wild west. And there are things like no helmet laws in Arizona. Most of the other side-by-side people don't wear helmets, but Jim does. He wears a fancy race drive helmet, and he put a helmet on me that had a way for us to communicate while we drove through the desert in this very loud machine. The thing is, when Jim put the helmet on, it was like, I'm trying to think of what they're called. I can't remember the name of the helmet, but they're very expensive. But they go wrap around your whole head. They have a shield. Jim put that thing on me. I clasped it and I immediately felt panicked. And I almost didn't continue. I almost said, no, I can't do this. Instead, I said, Jim, could you help me with this helmet? Could you take off this helmet? Please, take off this helmet. And I did talk like that, by the way. That's how I am. In fact, Emma said to my sister-in-law while Jim and I were out, that even if I hated it, I wouldn't say a word. She was right. If I hated it, I wouldn't say a word. Jim said, hold on, I have another helmet. Just a second. And he went and got another helmet that did not have was not closed. It was open. So I could breathe. And I said, okay, I'm ready. I wonder if there's anything that you had thought of trying but didn't for whatever reason. And I'm wondering how you might change that now by putting in a strategy like I did. Just kind of have it tucked in your back pocket so that when something comes up where your knee-jerk response is, oh, hell no, instead you tune into, oh, hell yes, excuse my language. As soon as I had the new helmet on, I started cueing myself to loosen my muscles, to breathe, to relax, to know that it was okay to be afraid. Being afraid is normal when you're doing something new and something that you might not have done in the past. But what was more important is to stay in the moment. And the way I knew that I could stay in the moment and not let my nervous system freak out, as it was likely to do, would be to release and relax my muscles from deep inside to every bit of me. So as we went roaring through the desert, I was calm as a cucumber. When we went through particularly fast stretches, I sometimes even just closed my eyes, relaxed, and breathed, said things in my mind like trust, trust, trust. We went through a section called the Narrows, and I knew that I had to record it for all y'all. I wasn't sure how well my camera would do, but it was fantastic. Everything, it was splendid. Sometimes those really old stories train us to be afraid. And we really don't have the evidence that we ought to be afraid. We don't realize that there are so many safety measures put into place. And if we are nervous, we can put our own safety measures in place. Is any of this hitting or resonating with you? When we got home, I walked through the garage and I did a dramatic kind of dance when I got back to where Emma and my sister-in-law were. And they said, "Did you like it?" And I said, "Oh my goodness, yes. It was like a spa day. I feel fantastic." My sister-in-law said, "I've never heard anyone else say that." And I said, "That's because they don't know the most important thing to do if they're scared is to meditate, breathe, enjoy the moment." And that's what I did. I love it. I just love it. Maybe you can use this story. I know that I can use this story. I will remember how frightening that was and how I overcame that. Probably the most frightening thing, actually, was when I noticed we were going onto the highway in this thing, the side-by-side. And I was like, Jim, are we going on the street? That scared me more than being out in the Mojave. Although technically the street is still the Mojave, but you know what I mean, the wilds of the Mojave. I encourage you, the next time you have a chance to do something that you would never imagined yourself doing, if someone offers it to you, take the chance. Just take the chance. If you get scared, meditate, breathe, trust, trust, trust. Then you'll have another fun story to tell. Good morning, love. Good morning. Enjoy your day. See you next time.